Bum, bum, ba, da, bum, bum. Ba, da, ba, da, ba, News. It's news on the internet.
News. La 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 la.
News.
News. We're here.
Hello and welcome to the Nobody Asked News Desk.
Yay! It's news. It looks just like every other episode, but it's the news.
But there's more stories. It's good. Today we are joined by our chief correspondent, Maria.
I'm a chief. Okay. Hi.
Hello. And
Hello.
also our anchor, it's Colin.
Ooh, nice.
Hi. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We've got 6 news stories coming at you from all angles. We're gonna tell you what's going on with this. Hey, what's going on with this news?
Hey, it's the news. Hey, news.
Hey, it's news. And hey, Ashley Nicole. Hey, it's the favorite podcast. It's us.
It's
That's
us.
what it is. Hey.
Oh. We're here. We're gonna do the news.
We're going to do the news. I am feeling delirious today. I have been working more than I'd like to be because, the capacity of my job has changed. And when I'm delirious, I do a lot of voices. So, voices, it's for dinner.
What's for dinner?
Mom, what's going on in your life? What's going on?
I just turned 48. Yay.
Gross.
I think I was 47 for 3 years. Like, I literally lost track of when I was supposed to be 47. And so I thought I was 47 much sooner than I actually was.
I feel that way for you also. Quite regularly. It's like, I think that this is something that happens when dad turns a new, first number in his age, is that I'm like, yeah, so mom's that age. And then every time I remember what age you are, I'm like, you are so young. I've got like one friend who's got a comparably aged parent or younger parent. Oh. And it's like, you were young.
48? 48's like, it feels like a normal age. I don't know.
Most of the people I work with are older than you. So, I mean, the vast majority are
and then you're even younger still.
Yes, I am younger than my mother. And and what's funny is that no one would guess that on a call. I met with an investor this week, and they were like, oh yeah, how do you feel about Nick? Nick is so impressive and he's only 30. And I was like, I am 26. And they're like, and they said, this was very nice. This is good political thinking here, is that they were like, oh, you don't look like you're in your 30s, but you present yourself like you're in your 30s. And I went, okay.
Yes, I'll accept this answer. Fine. Whatever.
Yeah, all right. At least you knew that it was going to hurt my feelings. So you softened the blow. But I've gotten mid-30s so much. I haven't been ID'd since I turned 21. And it was like, what was the point of waiting for this? I should have been acting like a European, didn't it? So, what are you gonna do? My week was also quite good. Wait, was that your whole week? I just asked, and then you said 48, and then that was it.
My week was good. I've been building stuff. I've been finishing projects that I started. It's been good. It's been good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. I had a very good week. I went out to Long Island. Forget about it. I went out to Long Island, went to the little beach, got a little beach house. We were on a beach. We go in the water. It was pretty good. Had a good time. The water was so weirdly warm for the East Coast because of the pollution thing. And so it's actually because of the lack of pollution, but
I mean, listen, there's reasons to be concerned about global warming. I believe in Texas and Alabama, they've had heaps and heaps, and probably Florida, they've had heaps and heaps of fish wash ashore because the water is so warm that the fish cannot breathe.
Yep.
So, water's
Yeah,
warm.
there's this graph out there of the surface temperature of the ocean across the year, and so it's a bunch of squiggles, and then it's from January. So you see this like summer, winter curve,
Mhm.
but they all overlap over each other and they're unintelligible. And then there's 2023, and it is so far above, like we're talking degrees above the previous year. And it turns out that models suggest that it's because the world the climate change accords made so the cargo ships stop pumping dirty sulfur dioxide into the air, which is really good at seeding clouds. It's pollution and it's bad for the earth, but it seeds clouds, which shades the ocean. And so when we stopped polluting and seeding clouds, the surface temperature of the ocean increased, which is bad.
That's
Uh,
the craziest thing I've ever heard,
so,
Colin.
ironically, our attempt to stop polluting temporarily increased the temperature of the oceans. So, whoopsies, whoops.
I mean, it has me thinking about putting that fabric, that like shade fabric that you'll have over, I don't know, like the garden department at Walmart. There's
Yeah,
just like this mesh that just cuts the UV down just enough. I'm like, can we just cover a whole yard in that? That's my feelings right now. Just let just enough sun through to not, to let my plants grow without scorching them like right now. Just a giant thing all over the whole yard. But maybe that's silly. I mean, it is silly. It's kind of a lot of yard to cover, but
fair enough. Yeah, we went to Long Island celebrating a friend's birthday. Had some good food. We're gonna go to the beach. Did a little drive. Yeah, and then I had this week, which has been just a lot of work. So it's good.
well,
It's,
hopefully this podcast will be a bit of a break for you.
oh my
You know,
goodness. Yeah, one hopes. I've been good about not working at night and stuff. Hi, Wendy. Um, I've been good at not working at night. It's just like I'm surprised by how burnt out I am by just working normal hours without a commute. Uh, you know, just like working an 8 hour day, just doing my job, no train on either end of it. And I eat a nice little lunch in the middle. And I'm like, geez, I'm beat. So, these kids don't want to work today because working is hard.
work is work. Yep.
So this investor that we met with, interesting cat. And uh, he does seem like the type to kind of test you on your business knowledge. And so there's a lot of testing me that went on. And then he had me come and evaluate an investment opportunity, like a different investment opportunity, and asked my opinion. So he was looking to invest in this chain of salad trucks. And so we
Okay.
went and we met with the owner. And then he was like, Colin, what do you think about this? And I asked questions. And one thing that was interesting is that the salad truck owner, he could not stop talking about how people don't want to work these days and how he refuses to hire anyone in their 20s because they all have no work ethic and they're not passionate about their jobs. And I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, we've met one, this is really good. And he was like, he's got tattoos. He had a friggin' pirate coin, like gold chain. He had a one wheel. This was like, I mean, he works in a kitchen. He's kind of hard rock, but then he's speaking all these like the kids don't want to work anymore talking points. And we got in the
Just don't
car.
want to give their soul to it, you know?
Yeah, well, and he was talking about like, oh yeah, and if we train kids the way that I was trained back in the day, you would never get away with that, Like when I first started working in a kitchen, all I was doing was scrubbing floors for the first 2 weeks, and if they thought you weren't scrubbing fast enough, they'd heat up a pan and they would burn you on the back of the leg to make you go faster. And I was like, that's bad. Why do you want this for people? It's crazy. Like, he's like,
I
you can't
suffered.
haze people anymore.
You
So
must suffer too.
yeah, you can't haze people so they don't become passionate. And it's like, you have got to figure out another way to make people passionate. And that was what they asked me to evaluate the opportunity. And I was like, well, he seems like he hates people a little bit and that he doesn't believe that anyone but him can do work, which I'd say is a red flag. And he agreed. So that was good.
It's like, I want to like you, bro, but also
I wanted to like him so bad. There was a lot of good energy coming from him, but then it was just this one thing where he's like, he didn't want to open another salad truck because he thought that no one else was capable of producing a quality salad like he does. And it was a little bit like, dude, it's not even cooking. Like, there's no heat.
I mean, I just made a delicious salad today. There was some work involved because
I believe it.
yeah.
He really cares about there being some of everything in every bite. And
Yes.
clearly it works. He's in Connecticut. He's charging like $14 to $17 for a salad from a food truck, and he's got a 25-minute wait regularly. So whatever he's doing is working. But it's like, okay, you're following the Jimmy John's model here, right? It's like there's nothing really special about the offering. It's just that it's consistent and it's good. They don't skimp on stuff. It's all right. Jimmy John's has a whole thing about how to sell people on the vision of good food. You're already halfway there because you're making health food. You're not making sandwiches, but he doesn't believe that he can indoctrinate anyone without burning them with a pan.
Yeah. You couldn't just get them to believe in your product and be
No, that would be crazy.
flexible during emergencies if they need to. Oh, your wife's in labor? Come to work.
Yeah. Here's what I'm worried about. And back in the day, if someone tried to steal from your cart, you would murder them in the streets, and then you'd go to prison for 40 years, and you would love it because you did it for your company, right? But now, no one's even murdering, Well, it's an interesting cat, We talked about one wheels for a little bit, though, and I feel like you like me. So, and I just need to be liked. Today's episode is sponsored by Bagel Bites. Yum, yum, yum. We love Bagel Bites. Have you ever wanted a bagel, but then you're like, what if instead I had an equal amount of bread and toppings, but I had 6 discrete things? You feel me? 6 items, so it feels like more because I had 6 of them, but it's the same amount of the thing.
Gotcha.
Well, if you have, how about a bagel bite? That's what that does. So, Bagel Bites.
It's like 6 bagels in one.
It's
one
like
bagel in 6.
Bagels in one. It's perfect. Guys, let's talk about the friggin' news.
Let's talk about the news.
Let's talk about the news. We didn't talk about which one of us is going to go first.
Sure didn't.
Just going to say me.
Okay.
Gang.
Let it be you.
The first of our 6 discrete little bite-sized bagels of news stories. Revealed the thing there. The first one is, you guys heard about this little superconductor news?
I've heard the word superconductor, and I said, oh.
Well, guys, I don't want to sound too techie, but a superconductor is a conductor that's just super. Well, you see, what its conductor does is there's like electrons over here. There's just not as many over here, and they can go through the conductor. But here's the thing. Even the best wires at normal temperatures, there's still an amount of resistance across them, right? Not nearly as much resistance as, a human body, but an amount of resistance across, for example, a copper wire. And so if those electrons travel across a distance and there is that resistance, energy is lost in the form of heat. And so transporting electricity across great distances or in complicated boards, all sorts of different things there's an energy loss element there.
Yes.
But something does exist, which is near perfect conductivity. and you'll never guess what it's called, Mom.
I can't even begin to imagine what you would call
I
it.
can't. Okay, get this. It's called a superconductor.
What?
And I know, like Superman, but a conductor. The thing about superconductors is that we've only been able to create them at near zero temperature, so like minus 273 Kelvin, right, Ellie?
What?
She's not listening. And, yeah, nah, we're chilling, Ellie. We're chilling. Just like a superconductor. And great comment. Hi, Barbie. So, uh, yeah. If you cool it down to a really low temperature, or you put it under like that one submersible amount of pressure,
Oh.
then that once you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
There are two situations where we've been able to create superconductors. It's really, really cold or really, really high pressure. The thing is, to produce those sort of situations takes a lot of energy in the first place, which it goes against the whole point of a superconductor, right? To cool
Right.
something down takes a lot of energy. To pressurize something a lot takes a lot of energy. So there's still energy loss in how much work you have to do to get there. Ah, dang! Until a little startup in South Korea, in Seoul, was like, we've found a very simple amalgam of elements. You can follow this simple recipe. It's just like a baked bean. And you
A baked bean.
I don't know why.
Not my baked bean recipe.
The trick is you just make one. So the very simple recipe to make a superconductor that works at room temperature and ambient pressure, impossible, wrong. So they've done it. They release on Archive, which is a non-peer-reviewed method of releasing a preliminary paper. They release, here's how we made it. Here's the evidence that it's a superconductor. And this is not for super innovative, cutting edge research. This is not abnormal. BioArchive and Archive are normal places to put preliminary papers, essentially. This is not always why, but essentially to stick your flag in the ground and be like, hey, I already did it. I did it. So now we're going to do more work to get it peer reviewed and do all the other science stuff. But just so you guys know, I did it. So if this works out when it gets peer reviewed, then we all know. And I get the Nobel Prize, okay? Not you. And this is
smart.
Yeah. That's the deal in science in general, man. When you're at the cutting edge of science, there's all these skeevy motherfuckers called PIs that are like, yoink, I'm stealing your shit. I'm stealing your shit. I'm going to do it faster because I got more money, and then I'm going to pretend it was my idea. So when you got really cutting edge shit, you got to be all secretive about it. You got to only tell a couple people. Once you expand the network of people that know about your cutting edge research, you increase the chance that you're going to be scooped.
Yes. Can't have it.
Which is actually what they call it. They call it scooping. And I find it hilarious because they have all these technical words for super simple things in science. But then as soon as science gets stolen, they're like, call it scooping. So you don't want to get scooped when you're on the cutting edge. Super famous thing. So, things like putting your paper out for peer review could put you at risk, right? Because people are now reading your research. And when it's something incredible, right, where like a patent could come out and it could be worth billions of dollars, maybe someone's incentivized to be like, oh, we need more work on this review. And then they yoink it themselves and they scoop it and yoink it. So they put it out there and everyone freaks out on the internet. They're like, oh my gosh, we're going to have magnetically levitating trains. We're going to have much faster computers. We're going to have phones whose batteries last forever. Our entire green energy is going to become vastly more efficient. There's going to be a lack of heat loss in our grid. This is the beginning of the end of the climate emergency. It's this super simple superconductor, which is tight. Problem, the instructions were pretty simple that they gave. and a
Uh-huh.
bunch of scientists rushed to replicate it to confirm the findings.
Uh-huh.
And boy, if they had, this would be a good week. But so far, no one has been able to replicate it.
Uh-oh.
Interestingly, people who have been replicating it have had different results. So
From each other.
from each other, but also definitely not the results that was originally touted. So there's a few different, uh, you know, things that could have happened here. The most likely is that this whole thing was a fraud. And what scientists say is that superconductor research, because it's seen as this like super high impact area of research, once a year something comes out that's like, oh yeah, we figured it out. And people, they try and get investment money and they try and get in and get out. It's a super common place to put out fraudulent research, especially on archive. Whoops. So that's probably the most likely situation. But
Hmm.
we should not unjustly judge these people quite yet. We don't have all the information. It's possible that they stumbled upon this discovery while trying to come up with a superconductor. They did something that actually did create a room temperature superconductor, and now they don't know what they did, which is just a fun little thing. When like when you're cooking, you know, and then and you're like, oh, I've got this ingredient, and you're throwing stuff in there, and you're not thinking about it, and then you eat what you cooked, and you're like, oh, I'm a god of cooking, and then for
Yes,
the rest of your life, you can never make that again. It's
exactly.
possible that's what they did with this super.
I mean, the fact that other people have tried the recipe and they've all come with different results
Yeah,
is a curiosity.
the the recipe is super vague. It's like
A
it's some
sprinkle, a
real,
pinch,
yeah, it's some real rest of the fucking owl. Have you heard
a
of that
handful.
meme? It There's this picture that's like how to draw an owl, and it's like draw two circles, connect them, finish owl, and then there's just like a completely photorealistic owl after the two sections. That's like what the instructions for the superconductor is. Now we'll be able to know if that happened because they still have the superconductor,
Yeah,
presumably.
yeah.
So they should be able to like bring it out and be like, other scientists test this. This is like a real superconductor. And then we'll really be onto something because we'll have to reverse engineer what the hell they did. That'll be a little fun. But right now, I'll read this in a second.
Okay.
Right now, no one's been able to replicate it, and they have not been responding for comment. So either they're buckled down in their labs, pulling all-nighters, tooling away, making shit happen, and they're like, "What? We're embarrassed that people can't replicate it, but we're going to figure out how to put those instructions," or they've gotten a bunch of investment money, and now they're on the lam. Barbie says, hubby has about 90 patents and a team that scours the globe looking for anyone who's trying to make money off his patents. Interesting.
Indeed. Nobody's going to
I love
steal
scouring.
his secret bean recipe. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. The trick is you make one bean. And so, yes, hello to Barbie. Is there anyone else I missed? Hello to Pineapple. Yes.
That's great. Okay, so I remember. Listen, I don't have a great grasp of quantum mechanics or anything like that, but I remember what. Yeah, right, exactly. I remember the experiment where they're like launching electrons at a screen, right? And there was
Mhm.
like a slit, and they're trying to get certain
The
results.
double slit experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the electrons do different things. They mix it up. They have a good time. Is that
Yeah.
not what's happening? Why are we getting different results from the same recipe? I don't know. Just a curiosity to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a different thing. But interestingly, superconductors do like, there is like a quantum entanglement element to it, which is why you see those superconductor videos. I'm sure you're regularly watching superconductor videos, our audience, but you see these superconductor
I
videos
mean,
where
Barbie might be.
these superconductor videos where there's like a circular rail and
Mhm.
you can levitate a superconductor and it'll spin around the rail levitating. And I should just pull up a video.
I mean, I do that
Um,
too.
what?
Whee! I do that too. You spin me around a rail, I start levitating. Whee! No? Just me.
Superconductor levitation. Okay, all right, I'm going to pull up a video. But this is like the quantum entanglement element of the thing.
Of electrons, of
There's a quantum
superconductors.
element to the whole thing. The double slit experiment, we could do a whole nobody asked on the double slit experiment, because it's the most misunderstood experiment of all time. And I love that it gets used by religious people to be like, look, God, because the electrons do different things. And you're like, it's an interesting takeaway. All right, superconductor.
Oh, this is not what I thought you meant by a rail. Let's see. Whee! Is it just like a magnet? This looks like a bunch of those little wee magnets.
Yeah, a bunch of magnets. So this is like a DIY home one.
I mean, it looks like fun.
So
it's so cold. Look at how cold that thing is.
Yeah, it's cold as hell. So you see that it's locked there, and hopefully what he'll do is after he has it glide over glass, which is kind of fun.
Slowed it down.
Hopefully what he'll do is he'll stop it and he'll adjust it, and then it will start floating around in the new adjusted position, which is interesting. But right now we're gonna.
It's sizzling cold. I never thought about things being cold sizzling. Whee! I don't know what he's doing now. He's just having a good time.
Oh, he keeps cooling it down. I think the problem here is that he's doing it. Oh, what does it do on this? What's it do here? Oh, it's a really hard time moving on this.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Friggin' magnets, man. How do they work?
Oh, they probably don't have all the poles lined up. You got to get your poles lined up to keep it moving.
Guys, if there's one thing we want you to take away from this episode, it's you got to get your poles lined up.
Yeah, if you want to glide, you need your poles lined up.
How do I get it the way that you had it a second ago? Oh, here it is. Is that it?
That's the one.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Right. Superconductors.
Yeah, so it's probably not real, but it would be cool if it was, but it's probably not. Hey,
that's what you need to know about superconductors this week.
Nice. Is there anything I missed?
I think it's cool. The theory people showed the bands that are a very interesting phenomena.
Ellie said that I didn't mention something I do not understand, which is true. Okay, I'm going to repeat what. Can you guys hear Ellie?
I can, but not well enough, especially because I was laughing.
Right. So. It theoretically modeled the structure. Keep going. In the electron banding.
Shows a very interesting. It's very interesting.
Shows a very. Sorry, one sec. Shows a very interesting. It's interesting. People get excited about that structure and materials. Dude, you talk to these materials people and then you say structure, they're like, oh my God, I'm glad I get to talk about this now.
I want to talk about the structure of the superconductor.
Wait, you're telling me it has banding? Oh my God. So
I mean, it would have to, right? I don't know.
Dude, it's got banding.
Okay.
Yeah, what's happening in the news in your news?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what I'm going to talk about just rolls from superconductor is obviously the best segue I can think of.
Let's see if I can make a segue. Yeah. Which one are you doing?
I'm going to talk about, the riverboat situation over there in Montgomery.
Okay, baby. Superconductors, electricity. You know where there's electricity? In a fucking fight on a boat. That's what. All right.
Okay, so we're in Montgomery, Alabama. We got a fun riverboat situation. We got like 227 people or something on this boat, having a great time, having the time of their lives. But it's time to pull in. Now, in order for them to access the gangway, they need enough room to do so. And there is a pontoon boat full of buttholes who are just parking wherever the heck they want and are in the way of the riverboat. And so the captain of the riverboat gets on the old 1MC on the old speakers, and he's like, "Hey, man, can you move your boat? You just need to move it like 3 feet so that we can pull in." And they ignore him. He says it again, and the dudes on the pontoon boat go, "Oh!" like literally start flipping the riverboat captain off, right? And he's like, "Listen, the police are not going to be happy with all the alcohol you have over there on your pontoon boat. I could just call the police, or you could just move your boat 3 feet." And they're still like, "Ah!" And so the riverboat captain, he calls one of the other boats. He calls the police, and he also there's a boat right nearby, and that boat, he asks him, "Hey, can you grab my co-captain over here so he can go ashore and go move the boat, basically." And so this other boat comes, picks up the co-captain, brings him ashore. Co-captain, we got him across the pier. He's walking across the pier, going over to move this pontoon boat 3 feet, which apparently is a thing people do in boat culture. It's okay to move somebody's boat a couple feet. Sometimes you just need to just move somebody a little bit, right? But those guys are still over there. And so they're on the pier and the boat. They're just in that vicinity, because I'm sure there's a lot of people here. So I don't know if it's like a boardwalk up there, or like, restaurants and bars where people are having a good time, but there's a lot of people around. And so we got that guy who's going over there to move their boat, right? And they come out and they're just yelling, and everybody on the boat is filming, because this is a sight, right? And they're not just filming, they're out there shouting, "Help! Move after!" They're screaming, they're singing, they're chanting, they're trying to get these guys to move their boat. They're having a great time. So anyway, the co-captain goes over, and words are being exchanged, right? And okay, all the dudes on the pontoon boat, white dudes. This riverboat co-captain is a black guy, right? So he comes over and they are getting aggressive. You can visually see aggressiveness happens. And then one of the white dudes just full body punches the co-captain, right? And then they start, there's a whole tussle going on. Now we got another white dude from the pontoon is over there fighting. So at some point there was like six dudes from the pontoon attacking that captain that's just wants to move his boat. Yep. So they can get the ferry boat in. And then people,
the co-captain.
The co-captain. Okay. And so then you got people, like other people that work for this riverboat company, start coming out of like from up above. They're coming down and they're getting in the way. Okay. And of course they're just coincidentally, it just fell very much along race lines, just for largely. So you got, and just people from everywhere. Some dude jumped off the boat. He's swimming across the water to come help the co-captain, right? Yeah. You got crew members.
Why would anyone join the pontoon group?
Nobody was joining the pontoon group except people that were part of the pontoon group, but there was quite a few of them. And there were some ladies start jumping in as their men are getting punched. Then you got ladies jumping on people's backs. And, at some point it calms down, right? The police start to show up. It calms down. They move the boat 3 feet and the riverboat pulls in. But at this point, you've now got 227 people that have been watching this that are now all amped up. And the crew that was still on the boat is all amped up. As soon as they get off the boat, they go confront the pontoon people some more. And now we have a melee, a full-on melee on the pier. Just ladies. We got one lady shoved another lady into the water. It was hilarious. We got a dude with a folding chair swinging it around, taking people out with the swinging with the chair. Utter insanity. And then come to find out, I heard an interview with the actual captain. He said, "We've had problems with these particular boaters before." This is a habit. These guys just do whatever they want, do not care. And one time, a previous year that they came, that group stole the golf cart that they used to take elderly people and disabled people, up the gangway. Yep. Stole their golf cart, and they found it at like the Best Western or something down the street. So these guys are regularly a problem. They have been. I think there's been 3 or 4 of the people from the pontoon boat who are white have been arrested.
Yep.
I don't believe any of the women were arrested, even though they were very much involved. And I think just the guy who was wielding the chair, they want him to come back in as well. Even though I saw him originally handcuffed. So, I mean, they know who everybody is because the police got there and they started handcuffing people. But
Yeah.
we're down to three white dudes from the pontoon boat, and then the guy, the black guy with the chair. So,
do we want to watch the video?
I mean, there's so many videos, and they're all great.
Okay, I would like to watch one.
Okay.
See what.
They're so good. They're so good. I've been watching them all week long. I guess there's definitely some, just some ingrained racial tensions in Montgomery, Alabama that just played out in an interesting way. So the guy in the white shirt that's the co-captain.
And he's still in moving boat. Still in moving boat. Clapping his hand. He's like,
He throws the fucking hat. It's so funny. Oh, he's got some rope.
See, now you got a guy coming down, and he's shoving all these people off to try to,
That seems like the right move.
Look,
Nice.
Captain wants some more. Look, there's a guy swimming across.
Oh my God.
get up there, young buck. Get up there, young buck. Get up there, young buck.
Get up there, young buck.
So it's,
we got action, baby. He better do that.
so that's just like it's calmed down at this point, and then it picks right back up because they get the boat moved, and people start getting off the boat, and it starts swinging.
Young boy slammed over there. Swam though. Did you see him take off in that water? Your boy gonna go get it. Hell yeah. Hey, your boy. No, don't stop him now. Oh, get it.
See, I think we got ladies in there now. That red dress, the green shirt, those are ladies.
Dude, the dude in the salmon shorts got suplexed.
Oh, it just keeps going. All right, we got him up, right?
Who the nicest one? The young boy? No, he yeah, but he's gonna let the star just handle that dog.
I don't know if they're just trying to calm him down. I'm not sure why they're holding him right now, since he did not start it.
I'm talking about he threw it. I bet he won't grab it no more. He already swam across this water. See.
Oh, so I think that guy's the police in the light blue shirt, that two-tone shirt.
He got the car right there. He touched the rubber. But he moved, he untied they boat.
That is only part of it.
But they should have moved.
That's like the first part. Then there's a whole second part when they actually get to the pier, when the riverboat pulls in, and and then people start pouring off, and you got the other people that are like in their pontoon boat at that point. People just start swinging on them in their boat, and that's when you start seeing people getting chucked in the water. It was spectacular. That was just part one. It was like 45 minutes of nonsense.
That is hilarious. The guy in the salmon shorts getting suplexed was hilarious to me. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like some people should have gotten arrested. I thought it was
some people did. Not really that many, really. For later on, there's a lot more people involved, but really, a lot of them get let go. But yeah, it is interesting.
I think probably the most important is like the pontoons, like the initial pontoon guys and the guy that started the actual altercation, the puncture.
I think he did. I think that guy did get arrested. Had to turn himself in.
That video, no one got thrown into the water.
Not in that video, but eventually somebody does get thrown in the water. It's a lady that gets thrown in the water by another lady. So it does happen.
That is fine.
Yeah. So it's just like Montgomery's. It's still there's still very big racial divides in Montgomery, Alabama. It's just a kind of a microcosm of America, of entitlement, of drunken nonsense, of people not wanting to put up with that stuff anymore. I really think it's just a great illustration of, I guess, just the sentiment in America in general. Nobody wants to play nice and just move the boat anymore for no reason.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's a microcosm of boat owners are dickheads.
Not always, but they can be.
Always.
No, we want to get a boat. I don't know, man. Yeah, that looks so fun.
I've just heard nothing good about owning a boat.
Well,
anyway,
theoretically, they're money pits for sure.
Yeah, the happiest days of your boat owner life is the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
Sure.
Like, great. Sounds like something I want to get into.
I mean, I would also accept just a little motorboat, just a little.
Where are you going to take it? Are you going to take it out on the ocean, or?
Well, to be fair, I kind of want two boats. Kind of want a little flat bottomed, two-seater. Can't hardly go anywhere to go down the rivers, so I can go hunting for turtles.
Fun.
And then I want or your dad wants a bigger boat that we can get out to. There's all these islands, these barrier islands, and you need a boat that's got a little bit of oomph to get out to the barrier island. So it just looks fun. You can go fishing. You can just go have fun. It's like a Jeep, but in the water. Good times.
A Jeep, but in the water. All right. Well, similarly positive, uplifting, hilarious vibes. The Ecuadorian candidate for president who fearlessly took on drug cartels and corruption has been killed in gunfire. Is it an assassination? Probably. I mean, let's be real. Probably. Fernando Villavicencio, which is what I would name the love interest in any novel, was a presidential candidate in Ecuador with a storied anti-corruption past. So I don't know if you guys have been following Ecuador and Ecuadorian politics, but I consider myself something of an Ecuadorian expert.
Do you really?
No. So
for me, all I know about Ecuador is what I've learned from 90 Day Fiancé, and that their currency is actually the US dollar.
Yeah, that's mentioned in this. But yes, Ecuador well, is it in South America? I guess it's in but
I mean, I guess it could be in Central America. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like central, because it's above Panama. Uh-oh. Colin doesn't know
Shoot,
where
I don't know.
Ecuador is. It says country in South America. Oh, very much in South America. It's below Colombia.
Oh,
It's between Colombia and Peru. All right.
okay.
Well, that's it's good news. Good stuff for me to know. They're having a presidential election soon, and Ecuador has, like many South American countries, had struggles with corruption in politics, and involvement with cartels, either Colombian or Mexican. And recently, Ecuador, because I don't fully understand how this helps, but because they use the US dollar, has become more and more focused upon by Mexican and Colombian cartels as a place to export cocaine. And so with the cartels comes corruption. And this candidate, Villasense, the candidate,
Vicente or something.
that guy, has been working anti-corruption for a long time. He wrote books about corruption. He's made a number of very serious accusations against high-ranking people that have led to convictions, where he has uncovered truths about their connection to cartels, including an accusation of the prior president of Ecuador as being corrupt. And he published a book on his corruption, which resulted in an 18-year prison sentence for defaming the president. But don't worry, he didn't go to prison. He just escaped into the indigenous Ecuadorian jungle because he is in a movie.
This is spectacular.
The dude abides, man. I think he is so.
He did until he didn't.
Yeah, no, he's dead now. But he seems dope. While he's been a candidate, he's received multiple threats linked to Mexico's Sinaloa cartel, a powerful drug trafficking network on the rise in Ecuador. But regardless of the danger, Villavicencio, promised in his final speech that he would lock up the thieves. Here I am showing my face. I'm not scared of him. Villavicencio told reporters shortly before he was killed. Whoops. That is a bummer. Villavicencio began taking on the powerful at the age of 18, 40 years ago, when he founded a small newspaper, Prensa Obrera, which focused on workers' rights. And he went on to study journalism at the
Ben Franklin energy.
He really does. After working for a state-run oil company, he went on to write books and articles for national media about corruption and environmental damage caused by the petroleum industry. Among his biggest scoops as a journalist was reporting on a trove of documents that pointed to inflated prices, shoddy workmanship, and extravagant kickbacks that were involved in some of the country's largest infrastructure projects, including some built by Brazilian construct giant Odebrecht. The evidence he uncovered was later used to help convict the former vice president, Jorge Glass, on bribery charges. This man finds info and puts it out there in a place where witness intimidation is not uncommon. Oops. The oil deals, harshly criticized by Villavicencio, have since been restructured by President Guillermo Lasso to give the OPEC nation more financial breathing room at a time when the dollarized economy has been losing competitiveness to its neighbors, all of which have flexible exchange rates that have helped buoy exports. For his fearless reporting and whistleblowing, Villavicencio paid a high price. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison for defaming ex-President Correa, but went on the run and sought refuge in the dense jungles of Ecuador's indigenous territory. As he dodged authorities closing in on him, this is a real sentence in an AP article, okay? This was not written by Fox. As he dodged authorities closing in on him, he survived by eating crocodile, bird, and monkey meat, and dodged police checkpoints by wading through jungles and rivers, according to a 2014 Committee to Protect Journalists profile. This dude is sick, or was. In 2017, he fled to exile in Peru. Upon his return home, he could be seen shuttled around the capital, Quito, with armed bodyguards. When he returned, he began to work in politics. So he's been running and continued his work as a leftist politician He served in 2021 as a deputy in Ecuador's Congress, a representative of the Honesty Alliance. So this is a book, is what this is. And he ran as the first anti-corruption candidate for Ecuador's presidency for the leftist Build Ecuador movement. One of 8 candidates, Villavicencio spoke often about the rising levels of violence in the country, but was not the front runner in the race. Despite that, he had received at least 3 death threats before the shooting and reported them to authorities, resulting in 1 detention, according to Patricia Zuquilanda, Villavicencio's campaign advisor. His death was met with an outpouring of grief, including other candidates who were reported to be affiliated with death threats. But yeah, at a rally, at a political campaign rally, gunfire just rang out, and he was dead. He has been probably assassinated, but it is unclear. So, whoops. But he has a lot of very powerful enemies, including petroleum and the cartel. So
that's a lot of big ticket people that want you dead.
Yep. So what's the moral of that one? Don't fight for what you believe in.
I mean, there's just so much. Listen, there's so much stuff going on in the world right now. How do you even? There's too many things. How do you not just lay on the ground and just let it all just run right over you? It's just so hard to really stick to your guns these days. Yep. It's just so hard.
I imagine he didn't do that because the ground is very uncomfortable in the jungle. So I feel like that provided a lot of motivation.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
So that's what's going on. I actually don't have anything else to say other than, well, that was crazy. What a weird life that guy had. It sucks that he's dead. He sounds dope.
He does sound dope. He sounds he sounds like he should get his own comic book or something. That would be cool.
It's also like, if he's not the front runner, why are you assassinating him? You've given him so much more power. Because now, I mean, we're talking about it on Nobody Asked. Everybody's going to know tomorrow morning. So, all right.
Exactly. He wasn't even the front runner. Well, let's talk about another politician who's in the news, periodically. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California. So, a few months back, she had taken about 3 months off from her Senate duties because she had shingles. Now, shingles is something, it's related to the chickenpox virus, and it is actually incredibly, incredibly painful. So, and you don't get over it quickly. It's not like 2 weeks like chickenpox. It's much, much worse, and it's very, very painful. So I have nothing negative to say about that. But she came back, and when asked by reporters about how she felt about being away, she didn't think she had been gone. She thought she'd been there the whole time and had voted every single time that she was supposed to. She kind of was rude to the reporter for him not knowing what he was talking about, which was quite interesting and a little bit alarming, right? And then I think a couple of weeks ago, we also saw Mitch McConnell have a little, a little reboot in front of everybody where he just stopped talking mid-sentence. And Senator Feinstein is the oldest right now in the Senate. She is 90 years old.
Too old.
She's quite old. She was hospitalized. She had a fall. I believe she was hospitalized yesterday or the day before. She had a fall. She was evaluated. They said she was fine. It's also come to light that her daughter is currently exercising a power of attorney over her mother to make decisions for her. But Senator Feinstein is still allowed to make decisions for the rest of us as a senator. And she has a pretty important, she's on the Judiciary Committee. So things don't happen when she's not there. They need her vote to move certain judiciary things along. So it's kind of an issue. She is finally at a point where she has said, but she has forgotten that she said it and seemed alarmed at other times that it's been brought up that she said this, that she's not running again. So she will finish out her term in 2025 and somebody else will take her spot then. But she doesn't seem to be even remotely willing to retire early based on the fact that she doesn't really know what's going on right now. She, her aides sometimes, have to help her out when She's just asked to say yay or nay, and she instead wants to say a bunch of other nonsense.
Yep. I saw that video. Yep. Well, it sounded like she was trying to prove that she knew what was going on, and it had the opposite effect.
It did have the opposite effect, yes. And it's terrible. See, here's my issue: is she actually was kind of an amazing person along the way. She did a lot of kind of big things. There's plenty of questions about why she has so much money. She's got like hundreds of millions of dollars. And if you follow what she, her stock movements and you do what she does, you're going to make money, which is, of course, always questionable. Is there insider trading going on? I think it's legitimate questions to ask. Not that she necessarily knows what's going on, but whoever's controlling your money does. Because I don't know that she knows what's going on at all right now. And it's sad. It's sad to be so committed to not leaving office that all of the good stuff you've done over your 30 plus years in the Senate get lost, because this is how we're going to remember you now is as this.
Like how we should remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking should have retired. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know what it sounds like, Mom? It sounds like ageism, and you're a bad person. How dare you?
I mean, we have something like 54 of the 100 senators are over 65 years old. That's more than half.
It was just that last week I said something just to this effect, and someone in our audience accused me of ageism, and it was like, you know what else is ageism? The fact that people under 18 can't vote. Oh, wait, most of them are more conscious than Dianne Feinstein. So give me a freaking break.
Yeah, if you're not a certain age, you also can't be in the Senate if you're not old enough. But we don't have an upper limit, and it's not nice to say that we need an upper limit, because your cognition certainly varies from person to person on when you are no longer reasonably able to do your job. But if you're legislating things that don't affect you because you're going to be dead, you know what I mean? Yep. Move out of the way. When the average age, I think right now, the average age, if you average everybody out in the Senate, is 64. So that's even with, there's actually a Gen Z in there mixed. The Gen Z might be in the House of Representatives. So I think when you mix the House of Representatives in, so all of Congress, the average age is 58, but the Senate is 64. There are, I don't know how many people over 80, but Feinstein's 90. There's another one that's 89. That's just right behind her. We got Mitch McConnell's 81, and we saw him have a little moment.
How old's Biden? 80.
He's 80.
Yeah.
And it is.
If we reelect him, how old will he be when he gets out of office? If he lives,
if he serves his entire term, 85. Yep.
Huh. Weird.
There's reasons to be concerned for him. Like, he does a mostly good job.
He'd be 86 when he ends.
Oh, I thought it was 85.
That is just terrible.
Yeah. Listen, I love old people, right? I really do. But there's a point where you're doing more hurt. You're doing more damage than good. And I think they're unwilling to believe that. They feel like they're the only ones that can do this.
They're just like the salad cart guy.
They're just like the salad cart guy. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. No one trusts the younger generation ever in the history. In the 1400s, people were like, geez, these kids born in the 1440s fucking suck. This is how we talked in the 1400s. You won't believe it. So I don't know.
I watched a video of Dianne. It's so funny. This is along the same lines. I watched a video of Dianne Feinstein, and there were little kids and with their school. And I mean, they looked like maybe they were 9 years old, and they're like, we'd like you to vote yes on the new Green Deal. Right. And she talked to these kids as if they were, 20-year-olds, and said, I know how to do my job, and I know how to vote correctly. I've been doing this for 30 years. I know how. She started scolding 9-year-old children that were asking her to vote for the Green New Deal. They're 9 years old. They're just trying to be part of the conversation as they visit, the Capitol. It's like, Yeah, Patricia. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought Biden was only going to run for one term. Yeah, me too. Hey, but I bet that if Biden has the same sort of like mental faculty loss that Feinstein has, he'll do the right thing then. Yeah, that'll be what happens. It'll all be great. Yes.
I saw a video of Biden at, I don't know if it was like a town hall or what it was, some sort of meet and greet, and somebody who's clearly a Trump supporter was really giving him a hard time, was questioning, his fitness for office. And Biden said, "Hey, do you want to, we can have a push-up battle right now. You want to do it?"
Hey, meet me outside. I'll give you a little push.
And but they got to a point where Biden's like, I don't really want to argue with you anymore. The guy's like, I'm not going to vote for you anyway. He's like, I know you're not going to vote for me. You're too old. Biden told the guy he was too old to vote for him, which was also funny.
I think that's pretty funny.
So, listen, we all like Dark Brandon. He gets some zingers in there. They're funny.
I love that he had that mug. The Dark Brandon mug.
Did you see it?
And then I'm sure it's only like a couple of people, but I did like the Republicans that were like, Brandon is an insult. And it's like, yeah, he's doing the same thing that you guys were doing with Let's Go Brandon. By the way, there's a baseball player on the Mets named Brandon Nimmo, and I have to stop myself when I go to Mets games because I'm like all the time like, oh, let's go Francisco. And then Brandon comes on. I'm like, yeah, Nimmo. Oh, yeah.
Get
Nimmo. So,
it's funny.
They've ruined so much. Okay, I'm going to blast through this one dumb fast. You're going to be like, whoa, that was the whole thing? And I'll be like, yes. Okay. Guys, there's a bill in San Francisco to allow 2 robo-taxi services to bypass safety concerns and expand in San Francisco to employ a fleet of self-driving taxis to drive you where you got to go. They're going to compete with Uber and Lyft, but they're not paying human capital because ain't no human driving them. So that's pretty cool. There are safety concerns, so they've driven millions of miles already. They initially opened up, and only people that were affiliated with the companies were able to use them to ride around. But at this point, they've racked up millions of miles without a major incident. But the concern is that something seems to be that they're doing sort of the opposite of what Tesla was doing, right? Tesla had autopilot and was like turning off autopilot when something bad happened and then claiming that there was no problem, right? And so that they claimed this really good incidence rate when really they were turning off autopilot and then not including it as an autopilot incident. They wanted to avoid that same pitfall. So when there's an error or like something that the computer can't parse, it just stops and is like, F this, okay? Someone else figure this out. They don't go on highways, so it's not like they're stopping in the middle of highways. But in San Francisco, they've stopped in the middle of intersections, and it seems like there's a really specific circumstance that causes them to just stop. And it's exactly the circumstance you don't want them to do that. It's when emergency vehicles have their lights and are trying to drive past them. The cars are like, I hate this. I hate these lights. They're just like me. So there have been 55 complaints by fire departments in San Francisco about these self-driving cars, specifically stating that the self-driving cars impeded their ability to deliver emergency services. So, that's not good. But also, wouldn't it be fun to pay less for an Uber? Yeah. So, yeah, there's a bill passing. They're going to expand the fleet probably. Officials seem opposed to it, but they also seem powerless to stop the bill. And I'm like, isn't that what officials do?
Yeah, that's your job is to
how you stop bills, So I don't know, but it's going to happen. I didn't know that there were robo taxis already. I think I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll get in a little robo taxi.
I would too. It's not getting on the highway. I mean, definitely concerning that it would just stop in the middle of an intersection. Don't they have like little food, like like little DoorDash
Food
things?
robots in
Food
LA,
robots.
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have them here yet. But I'd be excited because I guess when DoorDash sends them, if you get one of the robots, then it sends you a thing that's like, hey, we've returned your tip back to you, because robots don't take no tips. So I think it's fun. Yeah, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in getting one, or at least I say that. But then I had I drove to Connecticut and I was in a Subaru that had adaptive cruise control, and it's like, as you learn these systems, you need the system to tell you like what the limitations are, because we got into traffic and the adaptive cruise control would slow down to like 10 miles an hour. So I was like, all right, foot off the gas here, or foot off anything. But then at one point we actually stopped, and it didn't give me any notification, but when it stops, it disables the cruise control completely. So then the cars took off in front of me and I was like, I guess I'm driving now, And so I had to drive away with that. And then, have you ever tried the self parallel park function? You've got to operate the brake.
Oh.
It has to tell you that, because it is fast. It's like and you're like,
yeah, that's weird that you would have to
going backwards, and you're like, stop. Okay, I'm braking. It's like the user has to operate the brakes. So self-driving cars need to do better at communicating to the end user, because when we were in the Tesla with Dad, I was like, that when we test drove a Tesla, I was like, I don't want to put on autopilot because I don't know what the limitations are.
Yeah.
Like what can it do? Talk to me first, car. Oh, all right. That's the whole story. Robotaxis in San Francisco.
Yeah, they won't stop in the middle of the road. They might have some kinks to work out. That feels like something that can be figured out.
Yeah, but that feels like new technologies have kinks, It's like when the Samsung Galaxies were catching fire. It's like, look, man, it's a nice phone. It's going to catch on fire sometimes. Okay, you have got to chill, man. So the Model T, as killed a couple people because when they're cranking it, they get stuck in the crank and they get all twisted up like in a one of those lathe videos. So we just can't have cars now, right? People have to die for progress.
Yes. Well, speaking of Samsung's phones catching on fire, Maui's on fire, or it was on fire. Yesterday it was on fire. Yes. Yep. So there's kind of a historical city on Maui. It's called Lahaina, I believe. And I guess it used to be the capital of Hawaii before colonialism came. Now it's Honolulu. But so it's been very, very dry. I'm not going to blame global warming, but global warming, I guess this summer it's basically not really rained in Hawaii at all. So it's created those perfect conditions for wildfires. It seems like maybe a hillside just caught on fire, just a brush fire. And Hurricane Dora was coming by, creating some pretty significant, 85-mile-an-hour gusts that were just really kicking up the fire. And it ended up taking out this entire historic city, this little town of Lahaina in Maui. And right now they've got 36 people that they've confirmed are dead. But, I don't know that they have effectively figured it all out. The Coast Guard picked up like 12 people, in the water, because as people were fleeing, it got to where they just couldn't even drive away. And they just ended up having to just jump in the water to save themselves. And it is crazy to look at it because, one day it's a beautiful city. The next day it's just rubble. It's just a wasteland. And you see all these burnt out cars too, which means they weren't able to drive away for whatever reason. They couldn't, and Hawaii is one of those places where the local people sometimes live in poverty. So if everything catches on fire, they've lost everything. Yes, there's a lot of tourist stuff that's, obviously damaged, but it's the people that really live there that are probably going to really feel it. There were over like 11,000, I think, tourists that were there that needed to be evacuated as well. And if your hotel room was on fire, if your Airbnb was on fire and you didn't get a chance to grab your passports or whatever, I mean, that sucks, I guess.
We have had a very positive out, like this is sort of a routine here where we've had some really interesting negative news where we're like, that's crazy. This is like a nihilist podcast. I love it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's terrible. Like the footage is crazy, you know, watching just the fire just roll. I mean, I saw it in my own yard, you know, a month or two ago. So I know how fast, you know, when the wind kicks up, it just travels. But I didn't have 85-mile-an-hour gusts, you know. I can only imagine what that looked like and how fast it just carried across, you know, the entire city.
Yep.
And it's gone. You know, it's sad. I think we just got to keep an eye out for it, watch and see if you have some desire to help out in some way, you know, throwing money at the right organizations that'll help people out. But also, if you're planning on visiting, maybe don't do that. Maybe you're going to be a bigger burden than anything else, you know. Let the people, you know, take care of what they need to take care of.
Yep.
But yep, 36 so far, but I just don't know. I would suspect more. It did really look like it was hard to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened yesterday.
Woof. Yeah, Biden declared a state of emergency and all that.
Yes, he did. He declared a state of emergency. I believe he sent military out there to do, you know, what they do in those kinds of situations, bring water, hopefully help with, you know, I believe a couple cell towers got, you know, taken out also by it. So, but I do think there's still some amount of hurricane activity out there. It's hurricane season. So we'll see what happens.
That is a shame. If the military's there, then how are they going to stop the riots? Damn.
Which ones?
You see the ones in New York recently?
What is going on with that? Because I didn't understand it.
I mean, nothing is going on. It happened and then it stopped. But like,
okay.
But it was weird.
It looked silly. I don't know.
that seems to have some sort of like, who knows what this audience is? But the streamer was going to Union Square, which is where I worked when I was at Brandwidth. That's the train station I went to every day. Okay. And he went, and it is a place where political rallies are. Like all the time, walking back on the train, there was some shit happening at Union Square. There will be like pop-up concerts. It's just a spot. It's kind of like Washington Square Park and other like just things happen there. Well, a streamer announced that he was giving away free PS5s here. So like come meet and greet the streamer. And he's going to throw PS5s out. And it just it was like Black Friday, you know, it was like everyone's rushing for a limited number of PS5s. So people started fighting and then it just became a riot. And this whole riot. And he's got an arrest warrant, you know, like.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like Trump throwing paper towels to Puerto Rican refugees.
Yeah.
Here's a PS5 for you. Here you go.
Yeah, it was a whole strange situation, but people were climbing on top of roofs and like throwing those big orange cones and like using them to push cops away and whatnot. So there were a ton of arrests. So
I mean, how many PS5s could he possibly have had? It just feels like once he's out, he's out. Oh, I only had 10. Sorry. Go away, everybody.
Yep.
I don't know. I guess then you start wrestling each other for the PS5, the guy that's already got it. Yeah. Then
and then there's just like a general air of anger, you know, just like a boat situation. Like if someone won't move their pontoon, it's like, I mean, that's fucking stupid, you know.
Move your pontoon.
But then it's just this justice thing, right? Where you're like, there's 6 dudes like fighting a guy that's right. And you're like, I mean, that's enough to make the entire planet be like, I'm going to go jump those 6 dudes. And then a riot happens, you know. Everyone watches that and is like, I want to kick the shit out of those 6 guys, right? Well,
yep.
You know, this situation begets anger, and like maybe the PS5 got thrown to like a girl and then some guy yanked it out of her hands and then someone else like, whoa, she had it first. And then, you know, events. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the guy who was handing them out could have predicted that was going to happen. I do think that I don't know. How many people do you reasonably think are going to show up? But PS5s, though, that'll get more people.
People will show up for stuff. Mark Rebier, I'm sure I've shown you him. He does these like improv music things. He's hilarious and awesome. We've gone to his concerts twice, but it's all improvisational music. And and he does pop-up concerts in New York all the time, and it takes like 30 minutes for there to be a crowd of 500 people there. So
Oh wow. Huh.
he's not Drake, he's not huge. So a lot of people live here. A tenth of the nation lives in this metropolitan area. So
Really? That's the math?
New York City is 8 million, but the metropolitan area is 30.
Wow.
So including like Long Island, the Jersey Metro, and like not upstate, but like the Yonkers and all that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. I guess a tenth is not right because it's like the U.S. is 380 million, so it's like a 12th, 13th. It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. Okay, cool.
All right, well, that's the news.
That's the news.
We've got. It looks like we've got about 10 minutes to.
What happens in 10 minutes?
10 minutes until our food gets here. So
okay, let's do a GeoGuessr.
Let's do a little GeoGuessr.
Let's see if we get some Ecuador.
Podcast, guys. Blah, 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 blah. If eventually we like put this whole show, I just want to put like a hard like, you should stop listening now.
Yeah, also, this is just for watching.
That video section was not good for audio listeners, but
Why was it loud for you? It was okay for me. It was
just
weird.
We just weren't talking and they wouldn't be able to see the video. So
no, I talked through a little of it, or was I muted?
No, you talked through a little of it, but it's still not going to be good for an audio listener.
All right, here we'll just put a. That's not how you spell guesser. Boop.
All right, let's do the daily challenge.
Okay.
Is this big enough? Is this how it normally is?
I'll just. Oh, that one's smaller. That's smaller. Oh, that's just two people. Let's try this one.
Ooh, now that's nice.
Okay.
All right. Time for me to ignore everyone else's suggestions. Look at the color of that ground. That could be Malaysia.
Could be Malaysia. Ooh, weird stuff happened in Malaysia too. What happened in Malaysia? Oh, they made a declaration. Oh, Swatch watches. The old Swatch watch.
Yes,
now you can now get in pretty big trouble for having a Swatch watch because of any LGBTQ affiliation. And
that's interesting.
Pretty ridiculous.
It could be Malaysia. So that was very Malaysia-y looking text. It could also be Sri Lanka.
I mean, we just have. Well, wow. There was kind of wiggly water. Are we like in a rice paddy?
Yeah.
Why is it so jiggly jaggly?
I have no idea. It has taken a long time to load. Yep. Rice paddy. Does that make you think of somewhere specific?
It makes me think of is it Oklahoma? Iowa. No, Oklahoma.
Iowa.
Oklahoma? Nebraska. Oklahoma. I'm going to go with Oklahoma. What state is it? I have to look it up.
Okay, I do not think it's in the United States, Mom.
Oh, I don't either. I'm just saying.
100% not in the United States.
I got to look it up. Now I've got myself confused. State that grows rice. Arkansas. Arkansas, that's the one. Arkansas grows like a ridiculous amount of rice. It is in the United States. It grows the most rice, but it grows a lot. And we accidentally.
Oh, so close.
Yep, that's Arkansas right there.
I guess Thailand, but it was Cambodia. Still pretty good. All right. See, now this is not Malaysian.
See, Sheena thought that looked like Newport, Tennessee. So
that's interesting. That's kind of a fun house. It's very pretty.
Oh.
It's got a little love blanket. Interesting.
I don't know. Australia? I don't know. Where are we?
Australia.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
It's weird architecture. I'm confused by the architecture.
I'm a little bit more confused by the cars because it's like Hilal app.
Oh, Hilal. So are we like in the Middle East?
I mean, there's no way. I guess it could be like Turkey. It's very green.
It is very green.
I lost you.
Whoops. Goodbye, car. We got long plates. So does that mean Europe or no? Or do other parts?
That's an EU plate. So.
But these old cars, though. All of those cars were like
old. I agree.
70s, 80s vehicles.
Maybe it's Greece.
I'm
going to put that in there temporarily.
What about like Bulgaria? Are they in the EU? I don't know.
I don't know.
I have been to Greece. It was very green when I was there, except the beach had like black sand, which was pretty weird.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the Hilal app did not have any Greek letters. So maybe it is Turkey. Because Turkey's in the EU, right?
Is it?
Oh, wait, no, Turkey's in NATO.
Wait, did we just go back around in a circle?
No.
Oh, it's such a similar house. Okay.
Oh, Turkey flag.
Okay.
But we're going to go like very west. North. Right country, though.
Nice. Ooh, it's green here, too. It looks like corn.
Yellow plates, so that could be England.
I think, doesn't Germany also have yellow plates? I can't remember.
I think the Netherlands does. I don't know if Germany does.
Tobacco.
Oh. Grand Verget Bedrigjev.
Gerbil. What's the GEBR at the beginning? Gerbil. Oh, wait, there's another sign over here. Oh.
Scheutmaker. That's what I am.
Okay. What's on this little sign? Probably can't read that, can we? Oh, Gaber Togelvogel.
Loon en Grand Verget Bedrif.
What? So are we in like somewhere that speaks Dutch or something?
Yeah, it seems right. So like Belgium. Oh my gosh, look at those pavement stones. Those are like exactly like the ones that were by our house. Belgium. What's the Dutch speaking part of Belgium? Up by Antwerp and stuff?
Sure. Yeah, let's say up by Antwerp.
Hasselt. Aha. It was the Netherlands.
Okay. I mean, distance-wise, we weren't far.
Oh yeah, that was a good round. I mean, this looks
kilometers.
Oh, it is kilometers.
Let's see.
Oh, the sign disappeared. Adopta una carretera, Colón on Campeón del Pincho.
So possibly Spanish speaking. It's less clear with the way that you said it, but maybe.
Guacamole. It's kind of a fun little thing.
Yeah. What's the shape of these plates? These look like American-shaped plates.
Yeah, they do.
So I think we're
probably in Mexico.
It's really green, though. Could be further into South America. I don't know. Or was that terrible stuff you were saying, was that actually French?
Velocidad maxima.
Okay, that doesn't sound French.
I think this is Mexico. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Love Robot. That's a pretty famous graffiti artist right there.
Oh, where's he from?
America.
Oh.
But this is not America. All right. This is interesting. I mean, it's got to be like a big city, but it's going to be like
somewhere green though, not in that big white middle.
Monterrey, Guadalajara, Mexico City.
I don't think it's Mexico City, but we do have mountains over there.
Punta
Jim.
Swillart. Jim. Solo.
Let's go to this little tropical looking place. Yeah, let's go over here. What's over here? Oh, I don't know.
Rovacation Arroyo.
Punta Guiarte Arroyo. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's Boy Scouts. Bienvenidos.
So I feel like we have to be pretty far north in Mexico.
Rodriguez. Senador.
I think we've only got 29 seconds. We got to pick something. Pick somewhere green. Okay.
Fuck, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Oh, we messed that up. We should have. There should have been some clues there with the old Boy Scouts of America.
Yep. I forgot.
See, Shayna was all over it. Shayna was like, Puerto Rico.
God damn it. You're so right. Wait here, can we find where your mom is from?
Okay, she's from Yauco.
Yauco.
So I think it's in the middle.
I remember it's the opposite of San Juan. So, Yauco, there it is.
Yep.
Yauco.
That's it right there.
Oh my gosh, they've got an El Maison sandwiches. Bougie. Okay. Let's see what this sign says. 500 meters, aduana.
Aduana? I don't know what that means. I also don't know what that symbol means.
I have no idea.
Aduana.
What is taking this guy so long to pick up our food? Oh, we were temporarily in the earth.
Oh my gosh, there has to be something. Oh, here we go. Another aduana sign.
Aduana sign. Yeah. This is a friggin' nightmare. Give me something.
Something.
Oh, please.
All right. Oh, there's a sign up here. Let's see.
Acagua.
Oh, and then there was like a school or something saying that there's people walking by. Acagua.
La Tropia.
Okay.
Acagua. Bruh. All right.
I mean, this is like Spanish or Spanish adjacent. I don't know. I don't know these words.
Palm tree.
Sure. I'm assuming we're in South America.
Oh, the sun is in the north. So yes. But is it Brazil?
Exactly. That's the question. Is it Brazil? These words are all weird.
They are weird, which makes me think Portuguese, because Portuguese is weird.
Ooh, what's this sign say?
Migration detention obligatoria.
Well, those we understood.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. I would like to be detentioned. Oh, I can't go any further. Damn.
Oh, that's weird. You can't go there. Can you go that way?
Excuse me, sir. Is this Brazil? Okay, I think.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Or is it Bolivia?
What else is Portuguese? Is it?
Oh, Portugal.
Well, but is there not another country that speaks Portuguese in here?
I mean, I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's do it by right here. All right. It was Brazil. It was just the opposite. Wait.
Oh no, that's Uruguay. We're on the border.
It's right in Uruguay. Look at this. The Brazil-Uruguay border in Acagua. Oh, that's what the Acagua meant.
Oh.
It was the name of the place. All right. Pretty good. Oh.
I'll accept it. But what's important is that Shayna got Puerto Rico right. So she's the winner.
Very nice. Oh.
Thank you guys for keeping us company as we just talked about the random news because I didn't feel like deep diving on anything today.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah. So yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you next week. And thanks for keeping us company.
For sure.
Should we
Love
should
you
we,
guys.
should we sing it out?
Yep. News time. We're talking about the news. News time. News. News time.
News. Ecuador.
What time is it? I checked my watch. The watch says news. News time.
Politicians are really old. La 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 la. News time.
The president candidate of Ecuador died.